Hello and welcome to the Real-Esteem podcast. Today is July the 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Patrick Tabor, and today on the Marriage Edition, we're going to talk about mindset. If you'd like to hear any of our previous podcasts or get a copy of our book, Real-Esteem, Finding Your True Identity in Christ, please visit us at enith.com, www.eyniith.com. The way you enter a marriage is going to determine a lot about how successful you are, how much stress you may have, how much time you actually get to spend enjoying your marriage. If you start out with the wrong misconception about things or misconceptions about your spouse, it's going to be very difficult for you to really stay focused on what's important. A lot of times when people are getting married, the wedding is so much of it's such a big deal, and it is important, but they don't prepare and plan for when the wedding's over. They don't plan for after the honeymoon's finished. They don't plan for the things that they're going to have to deal with children if they decide to have children. So in this life, you're going to have to prepare, and you have to have the right mindset going in. It's so much more helpful when you have the correct mindset entering into marriage. So we always recommend, if at all possible, we recommend that you get some type of marital counseling. Especially we would hope that you would get it from a Christian counselor who can give you biblical values and understanding about each other and about where you're going in life. Somebody who can speak life to you, that can be positive and give you encouraging words, but also tell you the truth about what marriage is really like, what raising kids is going to entail. All these things are important. And if you can't really if you don't have that right mindset, if that's not prepared for you prior to going in, you're going to have all of these misconceptions and ideas and ideals and unwritten rules and things that you deal with from day to day. They're going to affect your marriage and your family. It's no doubt about it. Romans 8:5-8 says, "For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on things of the Spirit. For to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God." So, if you've been in church for a little while, I know you've heard that, we fight the flesh, or we don't allow the flesh to rule over us. We don't follow everything that our flesh wants. We have to kind of put that down, or die to self, or die to the flesh. All that means is you can't let your human nature, feelings, emotions control or direct your life. You have to allow God to do that, and God's law, his word. If you do that, you're going to have a better understanding about how and why things are occurring in your life, and you'll have a better attitude towards the things that happen in your life, because you can understand them a little bit better. So in marriage, you want to make sure that you have that right mindset, and that's only going to be prepared if you're living according to the Spirit as opposed to the flesh. Now, I'm not saying that we are all perfect and there's going to be times where you're never going to get in the flesh. But when you do, can you come out of it? Or do you have a spouse that can help you come out of that and start to recognize what is most important, or what is the priority here? You have to have the proper mindset. The way you see your spouse is so important. If you look at the negative more than you do the positive, you're probably going to have negative responses to them. If you pay more attention to every mistake that they make, you're probably going to continue to look for more mistakes. That's what the flesh does. It kind of inhibits itself from getting out of the way. It's always in the way. It's always halting you, or stifling you, or making you stumble. And the way you view your spouse is so important. You need to see the best in them. You need to know what the best is, and you need to be able to relay that daily. Because if you're just looking for the negative, you're going to find it. And then if you focus on it, you're going to see more of it, because you're going to bring that up more often, which is going to frustrate your spouse, which is probably going to cause you to see or cause more issues to occur, because you're actually becoming part of the problem that's trying to be corrected. Now, each individual in a marriage, you still have to work on yourself. You can't just work on the other person and not work on yourself. You have to work on the things and issues that you have, and your mindset about that has to be in place too. If you spend more time fixing yourself, working on the things that you need help with, as opposed to trying to fix the things that he or she needs help with, if both of you do that, in a perfect world, that's what's going to achieve the goal. And it can happen. It can occur if you allow yourself to not be so focused on every mistake or every issue that your spouse has. And vice versa, you have to, when you're going to check yourself, if you will, or be introspective about yourself, you're going to have to really be genuine. You know, hey, I have this issue. This is what I need to work on. I need to change this. I need to treat this person better. I need to speak life. I need to be more optimistic. I need to focus on the purpose that's before me. I need to spend more time with my kids. Whatever the circumstance is in your life, those issues that you have, those are the things that you need to focus most of your attention on, because when you correct those, you change the atmosphere in your own home. You actually make your life better. Can you imagine if you had 10 issues and you've solved one in 1 month? You probably just increased the happiness and joy and love in your house by 10%. So if you got all 10 of those things corrected in a year, you've just made a dramatic shift in your family that is going to literally change the outcome of how your spouse sees you, how your spouse sees your relationship, how he or she sees your family. Your kids are going to be better off. They're going to really love being around mom even more, or dad even more, because you've got these things corrected that irritate you and frustrate you and cause problems in your life. So your mindset has to be focused on you working on you before you're married, while you're married. You know, that is the goal. You have to focus on those things that are important. The Bible says, think on those things that are good and of good report. Well, that's what you're going to have to do to keep a happy, loving, joy-filled, purpose-filled marriage. Lastly, Hebrews 12:1-2 says, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. So Jesus took time out, and he had the mindset that I have to give up my life. I have to sacrifice myself for all of these people who do not know me, who may not know me, who may come to know me. You know, the whole goal was to give you the opportunity to be with him for eternity. He gave up everything. His whole life was focused on that moment, getting to that moment, to be able to defeat death and give people the opportunity to come to know him and to be able to live with him forever. I think it's so great that his mindset, he stayed focused for 33 years and finished his course while he was here on earth. I think he wants us to do the same thing, but we have to work on ourselves so that we can get to that destiny or that purpose that he set before us. We can't allow ourselves to have a mindset that's focused on everybody else and not fixing our own issues. Remember, make your mindset purposeful and set on the spirit as opposed to the flesh. I hope you got something out of this today. Be blessed. Grace and peace.